Hey everybody, it's Chris. We're going to do a quick in the bag. I'm in Michigan visiting my brother's basket. My dogs are both buried beside it, so I figured this is a good spot to shoot the video. But we'll go through the bag real quick and then I want to talk about what's going on in my life and maybe get some advice from you guys as well. So, let's get started. Putting putters. Still putting with White Classic Judges. These are in fact my brother's putters. I have them with me for the trip. I actually didn't mean to bring them. I had been playing around with them and forgot to take them out of the bag. But I do putt mostly White Classic Judges. You can see a couple of my practice putters here, and if you come to my bag, I have a peachish colored one that's really special. It came from Robert McCall that I run as well, but mostly White Classic for putting. I have a couple throwing putters. Sometimes I'll have 3, but right now I'm carrying 2. I have a really beat up soft judge that's like tacoed and tortured, and it's been in the bag for 6 years now that I just love throwing. I can hit any line with it, etc. And then I have a blue blend judge. These are one of my favorite types of judge to get fresh and throw. The blue just seems to have that really nice stability that I want from it. After that, my utility disc, Opto Bite. Love this thing for the woods. I have some footage from it last year where you can see me hitting really tight lines. I love that I can just put a little bit of power on it, snap my wrist, and it'll go on the line I throw it on. Hold a bunch of different lines in the woods, just super useful for tight, tricky stuff. For forehand or overstable approaches, I've got a Suspect, so if it's a little bit windy and that blue judge isn't going to cut it, I'll just power this down maybe a touch and throw it. Just nice fan grip and throw it in hyzer. And it's also one of my favorite forehand approaches, which until last year I definitely would not have been able to say, but that work I did put in last year has helped quite a bit. So Suspect's become a pretty intricate part of my bag on the approach line. Utility mids, I've got 2 of them. Very flat top Justice. This is one from the first year the Justice was out, just super, super overstable. It's maybe beaten in a little bit since I got it, but I'm either going to be carrying this one or the first red one I got all the time. They are incredibly overstable. I very rarely use them, but as somebody who throws or if you've ever thrown a Justice, you just know that sometimes a Justice is the right disc for the shot, and I always love having it for that. I think I throw it like once every 3 rounds type of deal. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, I've got a beat-in Patrol. So not even just a regular Patrol, but one that's been worked in quite a bit. This is my super flippy disc. Like, throw it here, and it's still going to roll up and turn. Or from your angle, sorry. Throw it on hyzer, and it's still going to turn up and turn over. So, again, kind of like the Justice, there's no other disc in my bag that flies like this one. So every once in a while I need it. And every once in a while I'll throw it just because I can throw a touchy shot with it as well. So, Justice. Move on to Truths. I have 4 Truths in my bag, sorry. I've got an old Premac after the Sweden stamp came in that is very straight to flippy. This is my normal turnover disc unless I need a really severe Patrol turnover. And I've got my brother's first run Truth, and this has been like the most thrown disc in my bag since 2019. It gets the most throws, it hits the most trees, etc. So it's not quite as overstable as when I picked it up, got it after he passed, but it does still fly very straight, very true flight. And I picked this up this year. It's another Premac Truth, again orange, but a lot of freshness to it. And although it's not pre-Sweden, it flies just like the pre-Sweden Truths. So really straight with a little bit of fade on it, which is pretty nice. And then the last Truth is a Glimmer X Truth. These are a completely different animal. They're not quite as overstable as a Verdict, but this is kind of my Verdict type disc. If I just put a little bit of angle control on it, I can get that nice overstable flight. Moving on to my first fairway disc, run Escapes. This is my straight to super flippy Escape. When I say straight, that's a hyzer flip straight as opposed to actually throw it straight. This is going to be my turnover or roller disc most of the time. This is my primary roller disc, in fact. Got my brother's Escape, which is a pre-Sweden. It's only a 167, and a lot of people might shy away from that, but this is one of the straightest Escapes I've ever thrown. If I put it on a little bit of hyzer, I can expect it to fade, but usually it's going to pop up and just cruise, or just hold a little bit of turnover if I ask it to. And then a Lucid-X Escape, again, similar to that Glimmer X, just a different animal. They're not quite getaways, but they have that backbone there where I can really torque on it and I can expect it to come back. Or if I throw it with a hyzer, I can expect it to carry a really nice big hyzer line because of that stability. The new disc to the bag, and I actually gave one away yesterday, is the Evader. I'm carrying 3 different plastics. The Glimmer SE, the Glimmer version, is a 169, I think. I was carrying 2 169s, a Glimmer and a regular Lucid. And this one's actually pretty flippy. Like, I can get it to stand up and turn out a little bit before it comes back. So it's a little bit more touchy than the other ones, but I've liked that because I can get a little bit more range of lines on it, and I really like the feel of the Evader. if you haven't thrown one, this is a disc that instantly clicked in my personal hand, so I carry multiple versions. I carry just regular Lucid. Usually I have a lightweight like 167 to 169, and then this is a 173 or 175 range. I like having both of them for just slightly different lines, slightly different amounts of stability. But when I say stability, like the 167 to 169 is a little bit lighter, but I can still get a really healthy fade out of it after it flexes. I'm not worried about it flipping and flying out in the wind. I can still rely on it to do what I want it to do. It's just a little bit easier to throw because it's lightweight. And then I have the Mugs Lucid-X and the Lucid-X Evader. I keep talking about the Lucid-X as a different animal. This is almost a different disc because it's so overstable. Like, I love this one for baby Felon shots. This isn't an Evader where I'm throwing for straight line with fade. This is me throwing really hard meat hook shots, or the thing I love is that it flare skips really well. So I can throw it on a low line toward the ground with the angle in, and it's going to skip and flare around the corner, which is a shot I hadn't had really strong in my bag for quite a while. So this disc is getting a lot of ground play from me, actually, which I really love. Then onto one of the discs that the Evader took out. Like, I was carrying, I think, 5 Escapes and 2 or 3 Felons before the Evader came out, and those Evaders kind of took those spots, but I do still have a 2018 Eric Oakley Lucid-X Felon, stamps off. I got it used, which was nice because it was a little bit beaten in, which made it way more usable for me, but it's still super overstable, just as overstable as when I got it. When I need a Felon, this is the one that I really like throwing anyway, so it's the one that's still in the back. And then distance drivers, I'm only carrying 1 mold right now, and that's kind of tricky because it could vary a lot. Like, right now I'm carrying just Defenders, but I have some Defenders in here that are not really Defender-like. Like this pink one with the stamp that's been wiped, I got it from Doc. This thing is really flippy. If I throw it here, it's going to turn out to flat, or if I throw it flat, I know it's going to turn out. And I can throw rollers with it because it's pretty understable. I don't tend to throw rollers with this one. I tend to throw just air shots with it with that little bit of turn or a lot of turn, but that's been useful. The next one is my gray one. This is the first Defender I ever got. It's got a huge notch out of it from a lawnmower blade. And this is my roller version. So it's just as understable as that pink one, maybe even more, but I like to throw this one. And I like throwing rollers with this versus the Escape because it doesn't turn onto its face as fast. So if I get it down to the ground, it wants to go straight, and it will actually tail off more often. But because of that, it gets a little bit more straight line distance. It doesn't tail and curl out as quick. So I can throw air shots with this one, but I tend to go to the pink, but if I'm going to slim my bag, I'd only carry one or the other. And I have the second or third Defender I ever got, this maroon one. And it's actually been in videos. It's in my Flip City run through from like 2017. This is my max distance one. Well, technically that green one's my max distance one, but this one's the one that has stability that I can trust a little bit more. And then I have a fresh one. This one's a lot more overstable than the rest, so it's adding into the bag. But that's my bag right now. And then distance drivers, what I want to point out is that instead of those Defenders, I'll often carry Kings and Raiders. I love the Raider. I think it's a great distance driver. I just wasn't clicking with it for a little while, so I put the Defenders in. It was like a palette refresher where I could say, okay, this isn't working, let's try this, and we'll go from there. So that's my bag right now. And I really wanted to do this in the bag video, and I was going to include footage like I do every year, but I have something going on right now that's causing me to not have 4 videos going. So I wanted to do the in-bag video. I wanted to do a review of all the Evader plastics, because I think that'd be fun. I wanted to do a review of the Grace and Rive first runs versus the Protos, because I thought that would be fun. And then, what was the other one? I can't remember what the other project was, but I had another one in the works as well. But my hands aren't working. A few weeks ago, I started having symptoms where my knuckles and my hands were hurting a lot of the time. So when I'm gripping stuff, when I close my hands, I have pain in all my joints. Now that's an easy supposed diagnosis. Like the easy pop on the internet is arthritis, and because of my age, it leans towards rheumatoid. But I haven't seen a doctor yet, so I'm not saying it's rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis or whatever. It could be anything autoimmune at this point. It could be Lyme disease. I'm a disc golfer. I could have gotten a tick and not realized it. So I am going to go to the doctor to get that checked. But that is causing me not to be able to throw right now, because when I do throw, I have to make mental adjustments to make sure my grip is closed. And I don't want to mess with my game that way, because then if it is something that I can get taken care of and the pain disappears, then I have to make the adjustment back. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. I am going to go to the doctor to get checked out. So if any of you are like, go to the doctor and see him, don't worry, it's in the plans. I do want to do that because I would like to be able to use my hands without pain, essentially. Like washing my hands hurts. That's no fun. And it's not crippling pain, like you can see me using my hands right now, but it's uncomfortable, so I want to get that taken care of. So I'm not going to be throwing for a little bit. I was hoping to get some footage of some friends, but it just didn't work out. Anyway, the reason I tell you that is not like, hey, pity me, but it's because I can't really do the videos like I've done them before, and I was thinking, what do you guys want to talk about? I can still talk. I can still talk about discs and how they fly and that kind of stuff. So if you have questions or you have ideas of some content that I should produce, put it down there so I can talk about it. Like if you're saying, well, why are you running Defenders? What's the point of that versus the Raiders and the Kings? We can talk about one mold versus multiple molds to cover shots with levels of beat in and the pluses and minuses of that. If you're saying, why are you running those old run Truths? I can give you the history of why I'm actually running Truths instead of Gatekeepers or EMAC Truths. So there's lots of stuff we can talk about. I'm just not really throwing right now. So hit those messages below. Tell me what you're thinking or what you think I should do videos on, what kind of conversations you think would be enjoyable, and I will get it put out there. But thanks for watching. That's what I'm throwing right now. It's what's in my Paratrooper. Oh, if you haven't seen, I do carry, my primary bag right now is the Paratrooper. I really like the way it carries. I like the type of storage it has. It sorts my discs really well for the way I like to, my brain likes to sort discs, so that's been handy. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Hope you're doing well. Put that below too. Tell me how you're doing. I mean, everybody has problems. Sometimes you need just somebody to say, hey, I'm sorry. I hope that gets better for you. So anyway, talk to you later. We'll do another video soon. Bye.